Hello and welcome to Brodual. Today we have the depths of Skyrim, and we'll also take a look at how you can transform Skyrim's underwater environments as a whole. Over the past 8 years we've explored almost the entire world of Skyrim. We've wandered down its many roads and delved into its ancient crypts. We've climbed to the top of every mountain and even looked down upon the world from the skies above. But one thing you might not have explored to its fullest is Skyrim's waters. And why would you? In vanilla they're bland, empty, and apart from a few quest related areas there's not much to see. That is until the release of the Depths of Skyrim mod. This is an overhaul that tackles Skyrim's bland underwater environments, offering new flora, fauna and visuals. It affects any water that you can fully submerge yourself in, so most of the larger lakes and the mod's main focus, the Sea of Ghosts. Diving into the mod, the first thing you'll notice are the new types of grass, coral and the giant kelp. These have been hand placed all over Skyrim's underwater areas. Sometimes they feel very scattered and random, but then at other times you can find these kind of coral forests teeming with life. It adds so much colour to these little areas, and the differences between them and vanilla is huge. Sometimes you'll stop just to take in the view, compared to the nothingness you'll swim right through in vanilla. This is enhanced even further with the addition of over 1,000 new fish all over the sea. And that's a small collectible kind of fish, not the annoying slaughterfish kind. Thankfully the mod doesn't add any more of those. But what it does add is a few more groups of hawkers, specifically swimming ones. Some people don't even know that these guys can swim, but they can, and they're a lot more terrifying in the water. With the mod you'll find a few new groups of them that spend a lot of time swimming around before migrating back to land every now and then. While you're underwater you'll also want to keep your eye out for one of the dozens of new unmarked locations. These are little points of interest that should catch your eye as you swim across the sea floor. Sometimes they're massively noticeable sunken ships, but other times it might just be a bit of half buried treasure. There's a ton of small little details to find, like the remains of ancient beasts or dragons, or little stories that unfold in the sunken debris. And then finally, to top the mod off, it fixes hundreds of small visual glitches and errors on the sea floor. These were minor in the base game, and since you weren't really going down there wasn't much of a need to fix them. But now that you'll be down there, it's good to have them sorted. Overall, Depths of Skyrim offers some much needed improvements to the underwater world. It feels very much like what it should have been in the first place, and it achieves that goal without too much of a hit to performance. If you can play with a grass mod on the low settings, you can play this. Still though, on its own it's not much. It at least makes swimming more visually impressive, which can be fun once you find yourself a helmet of water breathing, or maybe if you're playing an Argonian and want to take advantage of your natural born abilities. Instead, we like to think of the mod as a solid base which you can build on. If you like the idea of more fish, and especially the addition of hawkers in the sea, you might like to add the Sea of Spirits mod. This adds even more life to the sea with the addition of several new creatures, from huge whales to deadly sharks, from near mythical narwhals to actually mythical dregs. These new creatures can be found all across the sea and can be interacted with like any other on-land creature. Throw in the character behaviours enhanced mod, which on top of adding things like the ability to dodge and attack in the air, you'll now also be able to attack and use spells underwater. So instead of simply swimming away from a shark with your tail between your legs, you can choose to turn around and fight them. It's also a handy way to get rid of those pesky slaughterfish. If it wasn't the fish that caught your eye but instead the points of interest, there's also the underwater treasure mod. This adds over 50 submerged treasure chests to nearly all of Skyrim's waters, including its ponds, lakes and rivers. The Sea of Ghosts receives special attention with the addition of a new ancient underwater Dwemer ruin. If you dive down into the deepest, darkest depth of the Sea of Ghosts, you'll find the ruin and all of its ancient treasure. So with the points of interest from the first mod added with this, you'll have plenty of treasure hunting at your disposal. But be careful not to spend too much time underwater, otherwise strange things might happen. Maybe spending all of that time surrounded by narwhals, hunkers and sharks starts to make you feel like you're turning into one. The Curse of the WERESHARK mod offers a new lycanthropic transformation to get your hands on. By equipping a new cursed necklace, you'll be transformed into a WERESHARK, which if you didn't know is one of the 8 or 9 supposed lycan transformations in the Elder Scrolls, alongside were-boars, were-crocs and were-lions, just to name a few. Some of these definitely exist, while others are mentioned in a book from Daggerfall, from an author who had a friend who maybe saw one once, maybe. Nevertheless, the Curse of the WERESHARK is a fun little mod that basically acts as a skin replacer for the vanilla werewolf transformation, so it doesn't really make sense in game, but we thought it was fun to include it anyway. And that's the end of today's video. If you're in the mood to explore Skyrim's oceans but you'd prefer to sail on it rather than dive into it, you might want to check out Pirates of Skyrim. This will let you hire your own crew, build your own ship and captain yourself across the Sea of Ghosts and even further beyond. You'll even take part in naval battles, so if you're interested in that we'll include a link down below. And as always, be sure to leave endorsements on any mod you enjoy, and thanks for watching.